Hi everyone, welcome to Mr. Dyer's Musings. I'm Mr. Dyer. Today is kind of a surprise video because I'm out here in the woods and I was hunting and I didn't really get anything, but it's a great day to hunt mushrooms. So we're going to take a look at some mushrooms that I found that are edible right here this time of the year in Ohio, and we're going to talk about them. So stay with me. As always, I'd like to thank my wife and family for their unconditional support, especially for letting me come out and hunt this morning. So thank you, appreciate it. I'd like to thank you guys, my viewers, my subscribers. We're past 450 subscribers, so the channel keeps on moving on up, and I appreciate it, your guys' support. I'd like to thank my patrons on Patreon. If you're interested in helping out the channel in that regard, you guys, so that we can keep moving forward with historical things, then please consider doing that. So today's, like I said, it's kind of a impromptu thing. I'm out here on a friend's property. I was hunting and I thought I got a squirrel. Didn't get a squirrel. Missed it. Oh well. But there's tons of mushrooms in this area right now. Tons. And the most common one that I've been finding, let's see if I find a really, really good one. It's still in the ground because I've been picking. Is this right here. And notice it has a little bit of pink on the inside. That is called shrimp of the woods. Again, let's see. Take a look at it. It goes by another name, abortive something something. The scientists don't know if if it's a parasitic mushroom that feeds off of, well, like this guy here, or something else. But anyhow, it is an edible mushroom. It looks kind of like a brain in some regards. It's bright white, and you generally find it in big clusters. There's, I mean, the forest floor is just littered with this stuff on where I'm at right now. And so I want to take that. I got a bag of it that's here. Show you how many I've collected so far. As you can see, like, there is quite a bit. Ooh, my marker got in there somehow. Here's another example of what they think that it might have been a parasite on. But it looks a lot like a brain, like that. All right, and I was in luck. I did find another type of mushroom that is also edible. Now this one isn't one of the larger versions, but it's the common puffball, also known as the poor man's sweetbread. So I'm going to take these. These I'm not going to put in the bag because puffballs are a little bit more fragile, and I'm going to take them home and cook them up, and we'll see how it tastes. So let's take a short break. Okay guys, so we're back here in my backyard, and I already cut up some of these shrimp of the woods. Got them on my skillet, got my fire going. Now, when you clean them up, they look a lot like, well, like the spray foam. Once you spray it and it expands a little bit, that's what it looks very similar to me. And you want to wash these off, and the way I cut them, I start kind of at angles, make them into slices, turn, rotate, do the same thing. You can cut them however you want. That's just how I do it. Try to get most of it without the section that's got the dirt on it, the stem. I'll throw it in there. As far as the amount of butter, that's all it tastes. I stuck a half stick of butter in it when I made these in my kitchen for my kids. Maybe about 2 tablespoons. Just get enough in there coated. These mushrooms have a lot of moisture, so it takes a while for them to fry up and saute. Spread it around, get it all over. These things get really big, about the size of the palm of my hand. They don't have a very strong flavor. I think my favorite wild mushrooms are still the chanterelles, even over the most beloved morel mushrooms. I know a lot of people just love the morels. They're good, but the chanterelles I think have the best flavor out of all of them. The texture of the shrimp of the woods, I don't know if that's why they call it shrimp of the woods, but it really is a lot like a shrimp. But these are a meaty mushroom. And it looks like I got one left. Now this last mushroom that I'm saving, this is called a common puffball. This isn't one of the giant puffballs. And they get decent size if you let them, if you can find them. But when you cut them open, they're kind of squishy. They're called a poor man's sweetbread. I had my kids try it. They really didn't care for the taste of them when they were raw. But they are squishy. And they, to me, they taste a lot like your common white mushrooms, your button mushrooms from a grocery store in their raw form. And I'm gonna, these things I don't think taste as good fried up. They're just kind of squishy, and I don't know, they're not the meatier type like these guys. But I'll wait until these ones are done before I fry up the puffball mushrooms. If you have woods, or know someplace where you can go and try to procure some wild mushrooms, this time of year is really, really great time to find wild edibles. Fry them up, put them with your meats. Delicious. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes for these mushrooms, and most of them are done. You got a nice golden color on them, and even though the moisture is gone, they didn't melt per se. They're still meaty. They can still have their texture, and they're good to go. So I'm gonna take that one. I was telling my son, he was asking me why I was making a fork out of a branch, and I was trying to explain to him that age-old concept: the more that you have in your head, the less that you have to carry. You know, I have a tree in my backyard, had a little wide branch on it. I had to bring a fork outside with me, and it doesn't take much to find a wide branch and whittle out a little fork. Nature always provides. Really good. Now, if you remember, or maybe you can rewind the beginning of this video, how this skillet was full of mushrooms. And now they've shrunk down to what could be put in like 2 handfuls. And these things, like I said, are really good for eating with meat, put on top of hamburgers, or eat with steak or chicken or whatever. It doesn't matter. My family, we eat them as a side dish ourselves. Growing up Catholic, during Lent, one of the big things that my family would always eat on Fridays would be fried mushrooms. You know, go to the store, put some batter on it, fry it up, and that was a big part of our meal. Those are so good. All I had to do was just take a walk out in the woods and find them. Now I want to put a disclaimer out there that I am not a professional mushroom guide. Okay, today is the first time I've ever had these mushrooms, and I did quite a bit of reading and research, and I was confident enough to cook these up and eat them. But when you go out hunting mushrooms, you really need to make sure that you identify your mushrooms with professionals. I am not a professional mushroom hunter. I know like 3 or 4 edible mushrooms, and that is it. And there's a ton of them out there. There's a lot more out there. But I'm comfortable with eating about 3 or 4 different types of mushroom: chanterelles, morels, puffballs, and these. But there's a lot of lookalikes, and you don't want to hurt yourself and you don't want to hurt your family by trying to cook something that's not legitimately edible. So again, just putting that disclaimer out there. Go hunt at your own risk. Make sure to identify them thoroughly. If you have a shed of doubt, then don't eat them. Don't put your family or yourself in that situation. I hope you liked the video. If you did like the video, please click like. Please consider subscribing. You might want to check out my Patreon page and give financially to help the channel grow. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Give a kiss and hug to your loved ones, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.